Over August the 3rd, the Russian forces shelled 10 settlements in Donetsk region. 3 people were killed and 5 were wounded, according to the Donetsk region police press service. The Russians delivered fire from aviation, artillery, tanks and MLRS on Avdiivka, Bakhmut, Siversk, Chasiv Yar, Soledar, Mariinka, Shevchenkove, Bakhmutske and Georgiivka. 11 civil facilities were damaged and destroyed, 8 residential buildings, vehicles, etc., the police said. According to Pavlo Kyrylenko, the head of the Donetsk Regional Military Administration, on August the 3rd, 3 people perished in Bakhmut, Mariinka and Shevchenkove, and 5 other people were wounded. Since the Russian all-out invasion of Ukraine began, 678 people were killed in Donetsk region and 1,750 were wounded. At night on August the 4th, air raid alerts in Mykolaiv were announced 4 times. The Russian troops shelled the city from rocket launchers with cluster munitions. The first alert was at 0:23. It lasted for nearly 1 hour. The second time the sirens were heard at 2:57. The alert was recalled half an hour later. Before the third alert, rockets blasted at 4:01. Close 4 o'clock in the morning, Mykolaiv was rocked by powerful blasts. 2 city districts came under fire. We have early information about damaged residential buildings and a fire, City Mayor Alexander Sienkiewicz posted on his Telegram channel. The alert lasted until 6:10, but at 6:12 explosions thundered and the siren howled again. One of the Russian shells hit the road on Centralny Avenue. The 4th alert was cancelled at 7:56. According to the State Emergency Service of Ukraine, the night shellings resulted in destruction of an abandoned 2-story building and damage to 6 one-story houses and 1 5-story apartment building. No wounded people have so far been reported. At around 1:30 a.m., the Russian military hit an infrastructure facility in Nemyshlansky district in Kharkiv. 2 more strikes allegedly hit an open area in Kharkiv district. No one was killed or wounded, said Oleg Sinehubov, the head of Kharkiv Regional Military Administration, early on August the 4th. On August the 3rd, the Russian Federation barraged Chuhuiv, Kharkiv region. As city mayor Alina Minayeva told Suspilne, 1 person was killed and 2 were injured. According to Serhiy Bolvinov, the head of the investigation department at the regional police, the killed and 1 of the wounded are Russian nationals. He said the cluster munition shelling was launched at 12:50. The Russian army shelled 3 blocks of the town. In the aftermath of the enemy assault, a 5-story apartment building was damaged, said the police. According to the Regional Military Administration, the perished man was 58. The wounded women are 52 and 49 years old. Their injuries are moderate. The Chuhuiv shelling is investigated as a violation of laws and customs of war. On August the 3rd, the Russian troops shelled Krivorizhsky district in Dnipropetrovsk region twice. A 70-year-old woman was killed and a 73-year-old man was wounded, reported Valentin Reznichenko, the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration. They fired cluster shells from Uragan rocket launchers on Zelenodolsk community. A few dozens of detached houses were damaged in Marianske and Velika Kostromka. According to Mykola Lukashuk, the head of the regional council, the Russian army also shelled the area near Koshove village. An electricity line was damaged. At night on August the 4th, the Russian Federation's army shelled 2 districts in Dnipropetrovsk region, Nikopolsky and Krivorizhsky, said Valentin Reznichenko, the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration. The Russian forces shelled Nikopol from Grad rocket launchers twice. 60 rockets hit the residential blocks. No casualties. 1 house is ruined and almost 50 damaged. 3 dozens of utility facilities were also damaged. The shelling caused harm to buildings and machines in 3 local enterprises and over 100 solar panels. In Nikopol, 2 power lines were cut, which left over 3,000 people without electricity. Emergency electrical works are underway. In Krivorizhsky district, Uragan launchers fired Karpivska and Shirokivska communities. In Shiroka village, some houses were damaged. A woman aged 44 inflicted light wounds. She received medical aid and went home for further treatment. On August the 3rd, the Russian military shelled the Krasnopilya Hromada with artillery. There are damaged buildings. The vicinity of the railway station, the elevator and the center of Krasnopilya were shelled. This was reported on the Facebook page by the Sumy Operational and Tactical Group. Dmytro Zhivitsky, the head of Sumy Regional Military Administration, announced on his Telegram channel that in just one day, the Russian military shelled 3 Hromadas in Sumy region, namely Yunakivka, Myropilske and Krasnopilya. On the morning of August the 4th, the Russian military shelled Shalyginske, Krasnopilya and Novoslobidske Hromadas in Sumy region with artillery and mortars, Dmytro Zhivitsky reported. According to the information of the military administration, shelling of Shalyginska Hromada began at 5 a.m. A total of 12 mortar rounds. Later, another 10 artillery rounds. At 5:30 a.m., 8 explosions were recorded in the Krasnopilya Hromada fired from mortars. At 6 a.m., Russian soldiers fired at 2 villages of the Novoslobidske Hromada, hit private houses, and a fire broke out. Previously, there were no casualties. On the night of August the 4th, the Russian military launched several rocket attacks on Zaporizhzhia region near the village of Vilno-Andriivka and Zavodsky district of Zaporizhzhia on the village of Novoivanivka and Ternovate Hromada. One person was injured. Her condition is satisfactory, reported Alexander Starukh, the head of Zaporizhzhia Regional Military Administration. More than 100 people came to Maidan Heroiv with demands to release the prisoners of war who defended Mariupol and Azovstal. Relatives of the prisoners made an installation illustrating the bloody events in the Olenivka colony. The townspeople also hold placards with the inscriptions: "Russia is a terrorist state, save our defenders, Mariupol is free, return alive." Everyone saw these births, the charred bodies lying nearby on the berths, which were scattered all over the barracks. Everyone saw the bandages that were scattered all over the territory. On July the 29th, all the families of the defenders of Azovstal woke up, and their day became even blacker. One of our theses, which we want to express today, is that we demand the immediate return of our relatives to Ukrainian land, all defenders of Mariupol and all prisoners of war during the 8 years of war. The war did not start 5 months ago. It started 8 years ago. We demand the return of everyone. If it is impossible to do this on the territory controlled by Ukraine, then we would not be against extraction. Our fighters went out under the protection of the Geneva Convention. They went out with a guarantor of security, with a guarantor of life. We now see that a terrorist attack took place on July the 29th. Our relatives were simply executed in a cruel way. We, as people close to them, know nothing. No one informs us. It is very painful not to know whether your loved one is alive or not. I have the last hope that I will hug him, put this t-shirt on him and never let him go anywhere ever.